Hello everyone, welcome back. And if you're new, my name is Chris. And today I'm going to talk about my favorite picks for spring. We're going to call it my starting spring lineup. I think I have 13 fragrances I've chosen for today. So if you're interested to see what I'm got on my mantle, keep watching. Fragrances I will be wearing this spring is a fragrance I wore a lot last spring and also the fall, and it is called Bottega Veneta by Bottega Veneta. To me, this is just class and sophistication in a bottle. The person that wears this, they are just really put together, because this is just a beautifully put together fragrance. This is a leather-based fragrance, but to me, it's more like suede. It's a very muted suede. There's also patchouli, pink pepper, and oak moss. So this is technically a chypre fragrance. This is absolutely beautiful. One of the very few fragrances that I have where on multiple occasions people have kind of chased me down and tapped me on the shoulder and asked what I was wearing. It's just a beautiful, universally appealing fragrance that I love to wear for spring. Yeah, so that's Bottega Veneta. The next fragrance I'll be wearing for spring is a fragrance by Frederick Robin, and it is called Number 5. And Frederick Robin is an independent perfumer, and he's not only a perfumer, but he's also a composer. And he wanted to make a fragrance for his sister Clara, who likes really sweet, strong fragrances. And he tried 80 different concoctions until the 80th one stuck, and she liked it, and he called it Number 5. This fragrance is based on 4 notes. It's based on peach, musk, iris, and vanilla. And what I get, it's peach and musk. It's a very strong peach musk fragrance, maybe a little bit of iris, and a little vanilla for sweetness. Very bright, very crisp, very clean. It reads spring and summer to me, and this was very affordable. I think I paid $30 for this 30 ml bottle, so it was a win-win for me. I get to try out a new fragrance and support a young artist in the process. So Number 5 by Frederick Robin. The next fragrance I will be wearing this spring is one of my all-time favorite affordable fragrances, and that is called Trussardi Donna by Trussardi. And I am so surprised that this is so affordable, because it is such a beautifully well-crafted fragrance. I would characterize this as a fresh citrus fragrance with light floral touches. So this has yuzu, this has lemon, this has orange flower, this has lotus. There's a beautiful sweetness from the vanilla and a little bit of sandalwood, which gives it some creaminess. So this is just a gorgeous fragrance that I will be wearing this spring at the top of the lineup. The next fragrance I will be wearing this spring is a perfume that's been in my wardrobe the longest consecutively out of everything I have. And it's a vanilla-based fragrance, and it's one that I really don't hear anyone talk about. And it's one of my favorite vanillas, and it's called Vaniglia de Madagascar. Now this vanilla smells like a French patisserie. This one is very light and airy. It has touches of lemon. It has a barely perceptible floral note and a little bit of amber. And this is one of the perfumes that definitely gets sweeter as it dries down. It does stay kind of close to the skin, and it's not a huge projector, so it's not for everyone, but this is the perfect vanilla for me, because I can wear it in any situation, and I can wear it at work and not, blow people's noses off. So yeah, this is a great one. Vaniglia de Madagascar. The next fragrance that made the starting lineup is a fragrance from one of my favorite discovery houses of last year. And that fragrance house, or that perfume house, is Nuit Nomade. And I did their discovery set last year and fell in love with many of their fragrances. And I think I have 4 full bottles now. And the one I want to talk about that made my list is a gourmand rose. And that is called Jardins de Misva. So this is a rose with some gourmand notes. I think really the star of this fragrance, or definitely the co-star, is the date. This date has the perfect amount of sweetness. The rose in this to me is rose water. I know this because I used to spritz my face with rose water every day until my dermatologist told me to stop it. But I know what rose water smells like. So it's date, rose water, almond, maybe a little bit of nutmeg and saffron way in the background. But yeah, this is a beautiful gourmand rose that made my spring starting lineup. The next fragrance that made my starting spring lineup is a fragrance by the House of Lubin, and it is called Jardin Rouge. And Jardin Rouge translates into Red Garden in French, and this is the nickname given to Boston Gardens in the spring, which is known for its hollies, its raspberries, and its scarlet red oaks. But in the springtime, the magnolias blossom, and so you have these beautiful white blossoms that are kind of punctuating the sea of red. Yeah, so this is a perfect fragrance for spring. The notes in this are, yeah, so there's black currant, raspberry, rose, magnolia, musk, and oak moss. And I would categorize this as a really light floral with a fruity touch. Screams spring to me. I will be wearing it this spring. Yeah, so that's Jardin Rouge. The next fragrance that I will be wearing for spring, and that is on my starting lineup, is a fragrance that you haven't seen from me in a while, but it was in my very first haul video back in November, and it is by the House of Parle, and that is called Mile High, which is a pineapple-based fragrance, and this is the best pineapple perfume I've ever smelled. The pineapple is the star in this. Doesn't have a whole lot of notes. This has pineapple, immortelle, patchouli, and tonka. I really just get pineapple and immortelle. Immortelle is a plant that when it's added to fragrances, it gives it a honey-like or a hay-like accord. And I think I can smell both here. So it's pineapple, immortelle, and maybe a little bit of patchouli and tonka. And the pineapple in this is just a perfectly ripe or even slightly overripe pineapple. Gorgeous, screams spring and summer to me. I will be wearing this not only in the spring but also the summer. So you will be seeing more of this from me. So that is Mile High by Parle. The next fragrance on my starting spring lineup is a fragrance by the House of Cabanel. And I found it because I did the discovery set and found a couple that I really enjoyed and thought were fun and whimsical. And this one that made the list is called Je ne sais quoi, which in French translates into I don't know what. And the inspiration for this fragrance is Genmaicha tea. And Genmaicha tea is basically Japanese green tea that has brown rice, and sometimes it's called popcorn rice because that brown rice can pop while it's being made. And as a result, it can give the tea, it often does give the tea a nutty aroma and taste. And if you've ever had that tea, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's basically what I get. I get that green tea, a rice note, and a nutty note, and maybe a little bit of sandalwood. It just captures that essence so perfectly. It screams spring to me, and so that is why I will be wearing Je ne sais quoi this spring. The next fragrance on my starting spring lineup is a fragrance you have heard me talk about before, and it's a fragrance by the House of Parle, and that is called Guimauve de Noel, which translates into Christmas marshmallow. Now this is an orange blossom based fragrance, but it also has vanilla and sugar in it, and I can do white flowers as long as they're sweetened. But even though this says Christmas marshmallow, to me, I can use this year round. I think it'll do perfect in the spring and the summer because this is a light and airy and sweet fragrance, kind of like a marshmallow. So yeah, Guimauve de Noel, it will be on my starting lineup. The next fragrance on my starting spring lineup is a fragrance by Maison Francis Côte de Jean, and that is Gentle Fluidity. Gold. Now, this perfume is fairly new to my fragrance wardrobe, and it is what I would characterize a sweet ambery vanilla. So if you want to know what this smells like in a nutshell, take Montal's Intense Cafe and pour in a little bit of Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume, and that's basically what you got. This is a very sweet ambery vanilla. If you don't like sweet fragrances, you will not like this. I don't have a problem with sweet fragrances, and I really enjoy Intense Cafe. So I really, really like this. So yeah, I will be wearing this spring. Gentle Fluidity Gold. The next fragrance that is on my starting spring lineup is a fragrance by the House of Frassai, and that is called Blondine. And I don't think I've talked about this fragrance in a video, but I have posted it on Instagram. And the reason why I haven't talked about this fragrance is because to me it reads warm weather. It reads spring and summer. And you know, I've said it before that I really struggle. I can struggle with white flowers, but lily is a flower that I usually do not struggle with. And this is a lily-based fragrance. So this has a ton of notes that somehow come together and just work beautifully. So the main note is Stargazer Lily, but there's butter in this fragrance. The butter gives it a really nice creaminess. There is salt. There's a little bit of caramel. I think just enough to give it a little bit of sweetness to keep it from being sour, but you really can't detect the caramel. There's a suede note or a leather note. I think it's suede. Just to give it enough, just some warmth. And in the beginning and in the middle of the fragrance, I can detect some sort of citrus, a dark citrus. I think it's mandarin. They just come together so nicely to form a beautiful floral fragrance that I love and will be wearing a lot in the spring and summer. This is not the last time that you will see Blondine. So yeah, you'll see it again. The second to last fragrance on my spring lineup is a fragrance that you have not seen in any of my videos, but I have posted it to my Instagram account several times because I really, really have loved wearing it over the winter. And it is by my favorite house, or one of my favorite houses, Nuit Nomade, and it is called Under the Sea and Sky, which is their sandalwood fragrance. And the name Nothing But Sea and Sky was from a Walt Whitman poem, and this is supposed to personify Montauk Point in the middle of winter. And if you've ever been to Montauk Point, it is at the very north end of Long Island, and when you're at the very tip and you're looking out on the Atlantic Ocean, if it snows, it looks like you are at the end of the world, and you see nothing but sea and sky. There's only 3 notes listed for this, and it's I think it's Italian bergamot, Australian sandalwood, and white musk. This is a beautiful, light, fresh, crisp, citrusy sandalwood that I just love this. This is so clean and crisp and light and citrusy. If you don't like sandalwood because it's heavy, this might be right up your alley. Now, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just a beautifully clean and crisp fragrance that I absolutely love, and I will be wearing a lot this spring and summer and probably year round because it's just so pleasant. So yeah, Nothing But Sea and Sky. The last fragrance to make my starting spring lineup is a fragrance by Nishane, another one I have never talked about in a video, but I have posted this to Instagram. So it is called 100 Silent Ways, and this was a surprise for me because this is what I would call a vanillic floral. Now I believe this has the trifecta of white florals in it. I think that there is jasmine, tuberose, and gardenia. That can be hard for me unless it's cut with something sweet. And there is a heavy dose of vanilla in this to cut those white florals to make it so perfectly beautiful. And So yeah, this is a very sweet vanillic floral. This thing lasts all day. 3 sprays and you're good for 12 hours. Now, I've said before, I'm a serial undersprayer. 3 sprays is tops for me. And I wore this, I guess maybe a week or so ago to work, and you could smell it underneath my mask and you could smell it all day long. So good or bad, that's what you get with this fragrance. So a beautiful fragrance, I think, for spring that is 100 Silent Ways. So that does it for my starting spring lineup. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear from you what your favorite fragrances for spring are, and I will see you for the next one.